Hello, everybody. We had another idea for the topic, and we wanted to share our experience, how we are navigating our journey together, and give you maybe a reminders or pinpoint how your personal experience can benefit in the union, in the relationship, in the connection together. So we just probably will be giving more examples how whatever we've learned before coming together, how it benefits currently, like how it's easier to solve any issues that emerge, any, I don't want to even say conflicts, because at some point you realize you don't want to have anything in to do with conflicts. It's not the purpose of those connections anyways. So hopefully, our experience will help you if you're struggling with some of those doubts, and just give you maybe more encouragement to really work on yourself on your own, no matter your situation is, because you never know what's coming next for you. So you want just to be ready for whatever the universe has in store for you. So, Dio, floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. And we came in, we talk about this because we're seeing it within a community about when people begin to ask some questions, pinpointing things, or also we're seeing it with people who have just a regular relationships. It doesn't matter if it's a soul relationship, it is a kind of like a karmic relationship or situationship or any ships for it. But we've seen it that the people taking things of one-sided, and we talk about is today that she and I, the way we were working is like when these issues coming, these problems are coming, and so on. Those are actually the blessings in disguise for you to look inside of yourself. What is the things that you need to do and improve? I mean, I remember back in the days there was a intense energies between us. Hi, Grande, thank you for coming in. Glad to see you again here. And I was like going on towards Paulina. I'm like, darling, I know this is this is what the situations is intensity. I had that from the last connection in there that I was looking at this one-sided. I think that here it is a little different because I feel our collective energies between me and Paulina, and I feel like what happens in the past and it's the same issue. And if the same issue rising up, the same issues we were going in through it, that's mean that if I do the same thing as I did in the previous connections, things is not going to evolve. Things are going to change. There's going to be no benefits for me, but it's not going to be a benefits even if from within a union. And we both internally understood this. So every time when I come to a challenge, to a problem, to anything that comes in a rise up, we also we always begin to look at that positions, and we saw the benefit of the personal growth that comes in, the power of the personal growth. Because I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I'm not going to take any actions or anything. Give me a time to look within me. Give me a time to look deal. What is a deal has been done in the past? What is a deal has not involved in there? What is a deal has not been passing through of limitations or thresholds or wherever it is? So I'm looking at within me, and when I look within myself, I find out that I was one-sided. I was judging situations, and you need to understand without instead of judging situations and you take the one-sided positions, you are now observing the situations. You are going in observer mode, and through observer mode, you see the both sides. And now you're like, oh my God, I have not seen that. This is right here. And I'm looking at forward. There is this beautiful green light of the road for me to take to grow up within that position. And that is going to grow up within the relationship. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to expressing it to her. And I'm going to tell her what I go through it and what I improve and what I might change myself. Now, then I apply that change. I'm not just thinking, I'm applying it. And when you're applying it within the actions, then the things begin and they benefit the union with it.
I think especially this power of observation is useful. The moment that you realize that, by self observation, that's how you train yourself. But then whatever happens with another person, you can just immediately see, okay, he or she is facing something. They are going through the same stuff or maybe similar stuff that you are going through. So instead of looking on someone's flaws or, some negative aspects, if you're in this observer mode, you will be starting analyzing or just trying to understand another person before judging. I always assume that there is some background for why some people are acting one way or another. And I think, like, if not the negative patterns that we kind of learn on the way, along the way, I think, like, we are not meant to do harm to one another. So that's, I'm not even talking about those. There are some very, like, borderline examples, with very toxic patterns. But even with the smaller issues, if you see, for example, that you have a differences with your partner that you maybe not fully support, instead of judging right away, I think what would be very helpful for people just to treat it as observation. And, even maybe you don't even have to change anything. Maybe you just have to learn to accept that whatever the person took over, throughout the years, maybe just to observe, like, is it really relevant for the connection? Because I can see that some people are just doing problems or making problems where, it doesn't really matter, over the issues that are quite irrelevant, like from the spiritual side. you know you may not be happy with the habits for another person, for example, but sometimes it's like when I'm observing around the people, they would be way more peaceful within the connection if they just stop caring so much about what other person is doing and instead just trying to understand, like, we all have our past, we have our habits, maybe we've been through some other experiences, just to kind of try to understand it and support, instead of putting this kind of like a judgment, because it creates this unnecessary pressure.
So beautiful. I was just sitting here listening to it and um, talking about these observations modes in there and act on the base of the past. So basically, when you're getting into this new relationship, a new situationship, spiritual relationship for it, you still inside of you, if you're not in this observer mode, as we kind of like guiding you to see it up here with this video, you're going to be acting on the base of the past. And let me tell you, on the base of the past, what it is. Maybe he or she is the same like your previous relationship. Maybe she and or he, or is in your case in there, it is about like this that I know. You look at those decisions that you're seeking it inside of you, you're going to find out you're acting on the base of the fears because you don't want the past to repeat itself. But at the same time, those fears are the one that actually leading you to lack of seeing it, what you have to overcome. Because those repeatable patterns in there, I'm going to ask and telling you what I mean by repeatable patterns. You go from one relationship, one to situationship, or however, you find the same patterns in there, and the same patterns keep repeating to you, and you're like, well, I had this person, this situation with person A, person B, person C, person D. Now I'm a person A, and why do I have this? You act in the same way. You basically steering it that way. And when you become into the observer mode, you see it within yourself that observer mode right now is giving you the to look at it. Maybe the reason was not within the persons that I was before. Maybe it was in me. I don't understand why they were acting like this. Now you're stopping for a minute, you become into the observer mode, you see what they are looking at, you're missing the point of why did they did that. Then you understand that point of view of something that you were not aware before. Now you're aware of more about it. You're like, aha, now I have these things that I need to improve in me. And when you improve it, you understand the other person, and the other person is like, oh my God, great. This benefits us. Now I believe more in the connection. Now I'm more trusted in the connection. And then that benefit of the union comes in. Even if you are in the union, you're going to have those coming up on and off, but still the principle of the observer is going to be the same within.
Yeah, further on those observations. Uh, because based on my experience, those observations also can steer you in a little bit wrong, maybe not wrong direction, but they can cause you some unrealistic fears based on the past. So we were talking about those examples that, you meet someone, you had a connection with someone, and one person had specific traits that was toxic or it was not fully healthy, and you're afraid that your next partner is gonna be the same. You started realizing some similarities. Oh my God, it was like that in the past. How can I make sure if it's not gonna happen again? So I was going through this with all these doubts, even with our connection, especially because those fears kind of try to repeat from the past in a way like I don't want to do the same mistake. I was blinded. Maybe I missed some red flags. How can I protect myself, from doing the same mistakes? Because of course, if you're doubting in another person, if you're second guessing, what other person is doing, you cannot ask them because there is this trust issues, right? So I had to kind of find a solution for myself without even, we were talking with Dio, like I was sharing my doubts. At the same time, I knew that he cannot help me to overcome this. It's just my responsibility to take this, let's say, a risk or not. But I realized that I have to solve this issue one way or another, because if I don't kind of understand why those fears are coming, I will be repeating the same thing with another person, like whoever comes next. So I knew that there has to be some other way to face those fears. So I just kind of started thinking about those like bases of the fears itself, like what am I really afraid, and are they those fears objective, or am I really trying to put the mask from another person onto this current situation and this current partner? So that's something that can be useful potentially for some people, just to really, we all have fears, but sometimes they are right, like sometimes really they are protecting us from making those mistakes. But just make sure to take a look. Sorry, you want to
No, no, go ahead.
add? Just to take a look, really analyze yourself again from this observant mode, as if just looking at someone and tries to advise them, like, are you really, like, are those fears like explainable? Like, is it really the problem here, or are you trying just to back up so that you stay in your safe place, that you stay in your comfort zone? And there's some kind of like how do we say self sabotage going on here, like for you, just to stay in one place and just stay in your comfort zone, not to put yourself out there for the risk because you don't want to get hurt again. So that's what I wanted to.
Unhealthy
Yeah.
hermit mode in a way. But I was just listening to her and the energies that it's going on in here, and talking about this when the fears kicks in there, you're going to find out that there is the energy of the union that is going to come in as a backup energy, and to that observer mode, as Paulina said, the fears. And it comes out a picture that we were talking with her throughout our talks and the video. And I remember that that was at the time when I didn't judge her. I didn't tell her what I think it is. I did not tell her, that's what goes on and so on, like troubleshoot it and judge it, and here, that's what goes on. I did the one thing. I accept her of what the situation is, and I told her, darling, all you have to do is look inside of you, see what you can find. And by that, it gives me the power of continue, have this beautiful love, unconditional love with this, without the judgment, without the cloudiness, without the pointing the fingers. But on the other side, the energy is coming with the love, with understanding, the caring that comes for her, but with also with understanding. I cannot interfere with her internal process of what she's going through, but I can be next to her while she was going in. Then the fears, if she has something to share and so on, we go into the discussions and we go and look for it. We're both looking at it. Uh, the biggest positive in the site was that I'm sharing my issues, my internal issues with her. I'm sharing it with her, and she's sharing her internal issues with me. And then we both came in there. Even we're talking about before the union, even right now in the union, the energy is even better with this. But we've seen the benefit because if you are not in the union with yourself and not in the union within the person, you practice it that self evaluations and the benefits right now with those self evaluations we are looking at right now. We're finding the beautiful benefit for the union, guys. I mean, there is no. It makes the journey easier, but that is what you did that evolution with yourself. So,
I'm
so yours.
speechless. I'm speechless. I'm trying to pick up something to share, and there was one thing I want to share actually. Oh, it was the thing that we were discussing, that it seems that some people, they see that there's some issue between them, them and their partner, for example, but instead they try to get advices, from external sources, and that's okay. I don't mean that, but I have an impression that, instead of talking to some person to get advice, which is fine, they don't communicate that fully with their partner. So as if they want to make a change, they want to change the relationship, they want to fix some of those problems, but the person who should be the most interested in, like, is not involved in this conversation. So it just creates this unnecessary barrier, because it's as if one person tried to fix the issue that both people should be involved in. So I think that's something to maybe add as encouragement for those people who are trying to solve, especially with those twin flame connections, that they try to solve the issues for both of them. Because we are in a separation. My twin is going through his karmic situation, whatever. I'm gonna keep working on the connection no matter what. Which is, I don't think it's healthy pattern that you will be including into your connection. That's what you're trying to learn yourself. So it's not proper, because it doesn't teach you the proper balance and the proper exchange of give and take of attention, and just dealing with those issues. So even if you don't see if you do that with the best intention, trying to fix the whatever problem is in your relationship, you can very, like, by just missing this point, you can actually harm the relationship, because you will be creating those walls, those boundaries between you two. So with this, I just want to maybe to encourage people not to be afraid to engage the partner in those conversations, even you feel like you have to talk to psychologists because you have some fears, let's say, just to make sure that everyone involved in this like they know what's going on, that your partner knows that what you're facing, and even your doubts or fears or whatever is the case.
Thank you. She is opening up the energies inside, and when you talk to somebody outside of your relationship, what are you going in there to talk about it? Okay. I mean, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your best friends, you can talk to your people in the community, you can contact a coach, a psychologist, however it's in your case. But what are you saying there? And what's the reason for it? Because if you going out there and you're like pointing fingers, it's like my partner is like this and like this. My partner is like that, is like that. My partner is so on, I so on. What are you doing with this? You basically are like a little bit of crying baby that it comes in all around and doesn't do what it needs to. When you talk about with those people that I mentioned in there, you can go there. It's like, okay, what is it wrong within me? What do you think is wrong within myself? I am looking for advice to see why I cannot accept this. What is it that within me? What is stopping in me? Because that can help you to understand and finding the things within yourself. You're complaining about other person, you become complacent. You're living within a drama and the trauma that you know about this person and so on. Why don't look at the other side? Because by looking at the other side, people's gonna tell you what is the areas of concern you can do to you to accept this. Because the acceptance is a part within the journey. And by accepting it, then the acceptance begins to help you to be evolving within the connections. Because the whole thing is the connection itself. But also, if you look at the background energies, you're going to find out that the union energy is going to come in and help you with this. You're seeking for information what is within me that I need to change. It's not about you complaining about the person. And most of the people within the community are going out and they're complaining the whole world. Like the whole world has to know that they're twin flame. Da, 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 da. We all feel guilty in the beginning of the journey on this. But when you begin to evolve, when you mature within this, you're finding out that continue of doing that work within yourself is gonna be more inside of you that is gonna be leading you to that unification, that personal energy that you do within you. So if you guys have so many questions, you may ask now. And I don't
One
know.
more thing. No, I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
If you give your partner the chance to mature within this, like that can really benefit, because some people, by you putting off this other person out of the picture, just trying to solve it, because it's just, even if the issue is yours, it's fine for you to to solve it, and it's your responsibility to solve it. But by excluding someone, you're not giving a chance for someone to really mature within this relationship, as if you're just leaving them behind and doing the work that's on your own. And then, for example, this person will be missing this, getting involved in this issue. So every kind of problem or every issue that you're facing is just, that's a good chance just to strengthen the relationship. So that's just like a setting an example that you have to go through those things always together, instead of trying to go to your cave and just exclude someone completely, and then wish that everything will be solved by you, because it's very often not the case. Like, the other partner can feel really excluded and be thinking that you're kind of leaving him or her behind. I can just see, like, it can do more harm than good if you just, there's always this balance about not putting responsibility. You still have to go and face whatever you have to face, but just to find this middle point in which you do your work, but also you know that you're interdependent and you're kind of working together.
It's very beautiful when you are interdependent, that it's removing all this, pointing out the fingers towards your partner, but at the same time, it heals the codependency within yourself and strengthen out your personal energies within you. That actually, that personal strength is actually going and you have a beautiful benefit within the strength within your union, guys. We wish you a happy union and love in there, and hopefully this video helps you out. Ground is so true. Most people see themselves as the victims. They only see everything others do. Exactly. When you get off of these three V's, okay, people are guilty because they're going through those three V's. I'm talking about the victim, the victor, which is the hero, and
Villain.
the villain. Exactly, the villain. That is the bad guy, and so on. So the victor, the hero within you, looking at who is the villain, point out the fingers towards the villain. And then it's like, oh yeah, I am the victim in that case, or here's the victim in there, and try to make a justifying judgment in there. That triangle of inner hell, I have to be more precise in that. When you're interdependent with yourself, you get off out of this. You don't have to be the hero. You don't have to be the this victim mode mentality, point the finger of what is the villain does and so on. Because the difference between the hero and the villain is that the hero, it's like, okay, I saved the day and so on. We cannot prevent to make more villains in there, but at the same time, if you look at it in all those situations and that, sometimes we are pointing out that our connection is the villain without we recognize it, that we are playing in this hero victim mode because of previous experience. But when you take yourself out of that triangle as observer, as is a fourth point, because those 3 points of these three V's, when you take yourself out as the observer, you see in it that none of this makes any sense. Because the person who's going to love you, they're not going to be none of those three. They're not going to be the hero, they're not going to be the victim, and they're not going to be the villain. They're taking itself out. And then all that old paradigm of judgment is just wiped out of your consciousness in there. Adam, hey Adam, glad to see you here. I'm in a separations and I have been since 2015. During the time my twin has got engaged and new married, and I'm happy for her. I know she needs to live a life like the way she's supposed to. I'm not concerned, even if she has 10 kids. I'm generally happy for her. My journey is up to me. Yes, the journey is up to you, because the universe can tell you, maybe the connection with this person is it just came in to ignite that love within yourself, Adam. But if you have to be moved from the situations of where you are, the universe, one way or another, is going to ask you to keep seeking that evolution. Because the power of the evolution within yourself is seeking to experiencing these beautiful spiritual connections, guys. And Adam, thank you for coming in. Yes. Grande, we must stop not to judge others. Exactly. Because of the moment you begin to judge people, you gotta judge them as oh, this guy did the good job and that guy is so bad because I was the victim on that case. Or here is this bad guy because he harmed this person, so you're playing the hero, right? Or when you're looking at it, it's like, oh my God, I harmed this, I harmed that, and this guy thinks he's the hero, this guy thinks there is a victim, but they're a victim of their own fears for me. It's all getting over there at this situations, but once you get off out of this, once you move, as they say, guys, you're gonna find your freedom of love, and that's our wish for it. Okay, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming. Be love, and hopefully this is gonna be helping you out, and we are gonna be continue coming up here and make some videos, guys.
Yeah, thank you everyone for
Yeah.
coming. And just a reminder, maybe as a closing note, is that all of those issues that you were saying, they can be solved with just putting equality on all those people that you're having around yourself. Not to try to put anyone down, not to try to look up that someone is more mature or someone knows more, or you did bad and they were okay and now you have to, like, that's your fault, or that you have some grief, that you caused some issues with the relationship, or you see that you're doing more work than your partner. Like, whenever you can sense that there is some level of disbalance, that you're treating anyone on different levels, it cannot work. Like, there is always has to be, everyone has to be in the same level, no matter the age, the experience or maybe their spiritual maturity, because you cannot, the moment you start seeing someone higher or lower, it just creates this harmony. um
Creating this harmony in there, the union energy is going to help you not to create this harmony, but also the union energy is going to help you to create more. But that pattern of judgment, as you used to work within the 3D reality that we all came from, once you mature enough in that point, that begins to stop. But you can't prevent yourself from people who are in this area to come to you. But when you practice in the observer mode, you can recognize the pattern and you can tell the person, hey, look within yourself. And this is a why in the spirituality they said the wise man is the one who's going to turn you back your own questions back into you to look from within yourself. And that is what we want to kind of like giving you the nuggets is like, go back to you, go back from within. The answers are really there. But when you improve in yourself, you're improving the benefits for the union. All right, guys. That's all we have for you. Be love, guys.
Thank you again. I'll see you
And we'll
next
see you
time.
next time.